G'day, I'm Clive and welcome. We're back at the Armadale Reptile Centre with the lovely Lucy. There you go, new name for her. And we're looking at the tiger snake today. The snake that's got a bad rep for no reason at all. And it's the importance of these videos is to teach people how to react around them and why the snakes do what they do and how you can prevent it. So we'll take it over to you, let you expand on that.
I shall. So tiger snakes get more of a negative reaction from people because animals have two responses to danger: flight or fight. Majority of the time a lot of animals would use the flight response, but some animals tend to head towards a fight response earlier than others. So a tiger snake is one of those animals. So he will spend less time giving you warnings before he retaliates in a way that's seen as a bit more sudden and aggressive to people. So whereas a dugite might give you lots of warnings as you get closer and closer and closer that he's angry, a tiger snake might straight away, if you get too close to him, he might straight away arc up and begin to hiss, flatten his neck out, make himself look bigger, more intimidating. They'll do the same thing though if you continue to push your luck. They will potentially strike, but with a closed mouth. So they won't actually use their fangs or anything like that. It's just a kind of a hit to make you aware that they're there. And then if after that and you're still pushing your luck, well, then you can't really blame him for defending himself properly. And then that's where incidents can occur. But,
and like normal snakes, the length of their body to their striking.
Yeah, so on average a snake will strike to half of its body length. So you have a 2 meter snake, he'll strike to about 1 meter beyond his body. So if you're within that range, it goes against everything I know, you're better off staying still and just pretending that you're a tree, you're no danger, they have nothing to fear from you. But if you're beyond that strike distance, you're very safe to slowly, quietly, just move on backwards and then just get out of their space, let them realise that you're not actually a threat to them, and then that's when they'll go, okay, this is not fun anymore, I'm going to go have something to eat. And they'll move off on their own.
The other misconception is them chasing.
Yes. So tiger snakes are probably number one for, I've heard people claim that they've chased them. And I think that comes from the fact that they won't back down as quickly as other species will, and they will present themselves as bigger, tougher and scarier than they are, and then they will do this closed mouth lunge or strike at people, and you know, I understand you're scared. It's like the fisherman's story. It gets bigger and dangerouser and scarier every time you tell the story. So
also attempting to get to their safe.
They will, yes. So that's another possibility what they're doing. So sometimes when you encroach into their territory, they know their area incredibly well. They know where their safe zones are. They know where they go to eat. So big, dangerous giant to them comes clumping along into their space. Oh well, I need to go home. But unfortunately that home is between the legs of that big giant and down the other side under a rock, into a hole, wherever it may be. They've got no choice but to go that way. It's the only way they're going to feel safe and secure. So sometimes they may head towards you or in a direction that seems like it's towards you, but really they're going to their safe area. So like always, if you're still, if you're calm, if you're relaxed, you're a tree. That's all they see you as, is a very strange looking big tree. No danger, no issue. I'm just going to go home. I feel threatened. And that's all it is.
So when the females, they give birth to live, or they give...
It's live young.
Yeah.
Yep, it's one of the very few species that give birth to live young. Same as all other, most other snakes. Parental care is not something that's big on their mind. Mother carries the babies instead of incubating them as eggs. She obviously incubates them inside. gives birth to them, and instead of known as hatchies, we normally call them hatchies if they come from eggs. When they're live born, they're called neonates. Once they're all born, well, that's it. Life's over for them inside mum, and they are completely on their own. They all disperse like every other species, find their own little space, and that's it. Mum can go off and do it again.
And the strength of the venom, misconception in a lot of snakes,
Yes.
babies
Yes.
that is.
It's the same across all venomous snakes. When a juvenile is born, they are just biologically smaller than an adult. Everything about them is smaller. Fangs, venom sacs, everything. So the yield or the amount of venom in their body is incredibly small, and how far their fangs can penetrate into skin is very small. Not to say you cannot have a reaction, or for example pets or children or the elderly may be impacted by it, but you'll find that bites from a juvenile usually end up with, if there is venom in your body, it doesn't really do anything to you. But it's still always important that you stay safe around them, but you certainly don't need to treat them as more dangerous than an adult. Just like everything else, they want to live, they want to survive, so they want to run away, and they'll do anything they can to achieve that.
There's no one way of associating the snake because it comes in variations of colours.
A tiger snake's an interesting one because tiger snake is broad across all of Australia. So you have two kind of main groupings. So you have your eastern states tiger snakes, and that does include a few of the islands like Tasmania and the things in the Bass Strait as well. And then you've got your southwest tiger snake as well. So that's the one that, or the western tiger snake as it's more commonly called, that's the one that we have. So in the southwest, really there's only one colour morph that you come across, and it's the reason it's got the name tiger snake, because it's black across the top, and then it has a yellow to even orange body underneath, and that colour then comes up over its body and extends onto its back. It can extend all the way across, or it can just kind of come up and then just lightly meet on the back, and then it looks like stripes, or the tiger stripes. So in our southwest, the tiger snake is a very same looking animal. There's not a great deal of variety. The only variety really comes from how far up those stripes go, but a black and yellow striped snake to that degree is typically known as a tiger snake. There are, again, smaller snakes out there that have a black and white stripe to them, black and yellow striping to them, and they can be misidentified as tiger snakes. The Jan's banded snake is probably the most commonly misidentified as a tiger snake. That's a harmless snake, and unfortunately because of a fear towards the venomous snakes, there's a lot of little snakes that do get dispatched because of it. But you will find that in the eastern states they can have a bit more variety, and the colouring gets lost a little bit in some of the island species. But in our western tiger snake, that yellow and black that's basically it. There's not much variety in them.
One of the most beautiful snakes is a contrast of the two colours when they're first shed. That yellow is just so
very vibrant.
And then you've got nice shiny black.
Yes, very vibrant. And because they are a highly localized to the southwest area animal, and they habitat in areas of marsh and swamps and things like that, they naturally are in areas of a much cooler environment than a lot of the other elapid species. So that black top to them, the colouring on the top of them, is very, very important. So dark colours, as everyone knows, absorbs more heat and more sunlight as opposed to light colours. The ability then to flatten and flare out their neck is more of a typical trait of the black snake family, what they're from, and that's twofold. So one, bigger neck, bigger animal, looks scarier and more intimidating, But also a bigger neck means a bigger surface area, so they have more skin to absorb more sunlight and more heat, which is incredibly important for them to be able to exist in these cooler climates, and also to be able to move and get about during even the cooler days of the year where other snakes might not be as so active.
Yes, one of the things I was just going to say, that they last longer in the sense when it's cooler and all the others
Yes.
especially in the evening when they're out hunting for their food.
Yeah. So because they predate heavily on amphibians, that's a main part of their diet. Frogs are more active when the weather is wet. They're more active in your winter autumn period sort of thing. So naturally your tiger snakes do need to be also active in those periods. Everything is more active in summer, that's just a given, just the way they're designed. But on the warm winter days, it's not uncommon for people to see tiger snakes, and it can be surprising for people because they think, well, winter, nothing would be around reptile wise, but no, a nice warm winter day and big sunny day, and they could be out, definitely.
Is there anything else we can add, or?
Not particularly. I mean, they're not a great deal different to the dugite in all their aspects. There's been several occasions where people have seen them swimming, so they're one of the few species of snakes that it's not uncommon to see them swimming around. And they're also one of the few, even though they're classed as a terrestrial animal, so a ground-dwelling animal, they actually have a pretty strong ability to climb. So it's not uncommon to see them climbing up reeds and marshes and things like that, just to whether they're getting more sun, whether they're looking out to see if there's something around, whether there's a nice yummy frog or even a wading bird or anything like that that they can see close by. But they also have been known to get quite high off the ground, even up to 1.5 to 2 meters off the ground. So it's not always just looking on the ground. Sometimes it doesn't hurt to look around in your whole surroundings.
They like to bury themselves in the leaves.
They will, yeah. They can do if they've, say, had enough sun, they've had enough to eat, and they just have another midday siesta. They may bury themselves around. But the good thing for them about marshes and swampy areas is there's so much vegetation around the water edge, and it's vegetation that most predators wouldn't venture into. So they are relatively safe in their little areas around there.
Well, I got a bit out of that myself. There's a few things I didn't know, which is good, and I hope you did too. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and thank Lucy. And if you have enjoyed it and you're not a subscriber, please go down below, click on the subscribe button, click on the notification bell next to it and select all, so you can be notified of all future videos, and hit that thumbs up button, the like. And if you are already a subscriber, again, I thank you very much.